Hello, in this video I will be trying to recreate a 1950s dress. I used the Simplicity pattern number 1250 1950s vintage, but I had to heavily adapt the patterns that I was using just due to my size. I am choosing to recreate dress B, and for this I used red wine cotton fabric from Dowston Mills as well as Gutermann red wine thread, and then I managed to pick up an invisible zip that matched the fabric and thread from Amazon. Later on I also bought a hook and eye to put at the top of the bodice after I'd finished making. This is footage of me using my adapted skirt pattern. I had to narrow down the waist size because my waist is smaller than the rest of my size measurements around my hips and bust. After this, I used the fabric to place my adapted bodice pattern on. I did two different front pieces as I'm a little asymmetrical and the pleats needed to be placed different for my bust point. I also opened out the back pattern because the darts had to be placed differently rather than the symmetrical pattern that can be cut on a fold on the Simplicity pattern. Next I moved on to marking the pleats and the darts, and this footage shows me pinning the pleats in place as marked. It was a quite fiddly task, but I just used an army of pins to do it and made sure they matched up. I also pinned the darts. This is footage of me securing the pleats in place before sewing it properly, and this is me doing the front darts. At the end I ensured to leave a long piece of thread and cut it and tie the ends. You don't want to do a running back stitch on it or else it will leave a pointed bust. And then I just trimmed off the excess thread. I pinned the centre front pieces together, ensuring to align the pleats so they match when opened out. And then I matched up the rest of the notches with that and make sure they matched at the bottom. And then sewed this in place, ensuring to back stitch near the pleats due to the bulk. Here's me ironing the centre front seam out as well as the front darts. Unfortunately, I lost footage of me sewing the back darts. But here's me ironing the back darts. Unfortunately, I lost footage of me pinning the front bodice and back bodice together at the right seam, but this is me sewing the pieces together, pretty much like the centre front seam. I'm pinning the centre front panels of the skirt together here, ensuring to match up the notches as always. Then I moved on to sewing down this long centre front seam. Then after that, I ensured to repeat this process of pinning and sewing for the centre back seams as well. The open left seam will be partly where the zip will come down after inserting it later on, but right now for the right side seam I'm pinning in place ready to sew, just like I did with the centre front and centre back seam. After sewing the right side seam, I moved on to pinning the bodice onto the skirt, which unfortunately I lost the footage of yet again, but this is me sewing the bodice on. When I pinned it, I ensured the centre front seams matched up on both the skirt and bodice, and I placed the centre back seam right in the middle of where the back darts lie so it looked even. I also ensured that the centre front seams were opened out to reduce the bulk. This is footage of me attempting to pin the zip in place. Unfortunately, I'm not very good with zips, so it took me a while to pin and sew in place purely because of my hatred of zips. Eventually I got there though and managed to figure how to pin it in place properly on the left side seam as it extends from the bodice down to the skirt. After this, I moved on to sewing it in place. I ensured to change the foot on my sewing machine to an invisible zip foot before I started sewing the zip in place. Once I reached near the bottom of the zip, I lifted the foot up so I could zip the rest of the zip up and continue down to the bottom. And I repeated this for the other side of the zip. And here is the zip once it's inserted, and I double checked that it zipped up nicely. Then I moved on to securing the rest of the left side seam beneath the zip into place. I sewed down this side seam next, ensuring to move the bottom of the zip inwards so it didn't stick out at the front. Next I moved on to the binding for the top of the bodice. I I started with a bias binding seam and matched it to the centre front seam so it wouldn't look odd in any other position. You can buy your own bias binding tape, but I chose to make mine so the fabrics would match exactly. I fold over the bias binding and secure it in place with a pin, ensuring that they're equal on both sides along the bodice. I find this test quite difficult because I find it very fiddly, especially around the curved parts of the bust. As I reached the end of the bodice, I lined it up and pinned it in place, and then I cut off the excess binding at the end and folded it over so it wouldn't be seen from the outside. And then I completed this on the other part of the bodice. Then I put it under the machine and sewed in place, ensuring that I stuck to the far edge to secure it, and it managed to look quite neat with the stitching in place. As I reached the centre point when it came to the binding, I ensured to backstitch to make sure it was extra strong over this bulky part of the binding. Once I had sewed the binding, I then moved on to attach the hook and eye, which I lost footage of, but that was basically the end of the dressmaking process. Here's the final results of my dress. I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching.